ಡೈರೆಕ್ಟರ್ ಜಾಯ್ನ್ ಆಗ್ತಾರಾ ಸರ್ ಸತೀಶ್ ಸರ್?
ನೋಡ್ಬೇಕು ಸರ್, ಏನೋ ಬಿಸಿ ಅಂತ ಇದ್ರ ಜಾಯ್ನ್ ಆದ್ರೂ ಆಗ್ಬೋದು ಇನ್ ಬಿಟ್ವೀನ್. ಅದು ಇದು ಮೀಟಿಂಗ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತಾರ, ಬಿಸಿ ಅವು ಇವು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಆದ್ರೆ ಆಗ್ಬೋದು.
Shrikant links to George sir. Shrikant link sent to Vijayan sir also.
Acha. So let me see, Vijayan has joined. Vijayan sir is joining in a moment.
Fine, Shrikant. ರಮೇಶ್ ಸರ್, ಲಿಂಕಲ್ ಸರ್ ಮತ್ತೆ ಲಕ್ಷ್ಮೀಪತಿ ಸರ್ ಆಡ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕಲ್ವಾ ಸರ್ ಪೆನ್ ಲಿಸ್ಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ?
Overacting.
Dr. Yogesh, good morning. Kaushik and Shrikant, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning. Kaushik, good morning.
Ramesh sir. Morning, everyone. ಕೌಶಿಕ್, ಏನ್ ನಂಬರ್ ಕಡಿಮೆ ಇದೆ ಇವತ್ತು?
ಸರ್ ಫಿಶರೀಸ್ ಸೆಕ್ಟರ್ ಅಲ್ವಾ, ರಿಜಿಸ್ಟ್ರೇಷನ್ಸ್ ಕೂಡ ಆಲ್ಮೋಸ್ಟ್ 750 ಆಗಿತ್ತು ಅಷ್ಟೇನೆ ಸರ್. ಮತ್ತೆ ಈ ಸಲ ಸರ್ಟಿಫಿಕೇಶನ್ ತೆಗ್ದಿದೀವಿ ನಾವು, ಮೇ ಬಿ ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಒನ್ ಆಫ್ ದಿ ರೀಸನ್.
ಏನಕ್ಕೆ ತೆಗ್ದ್ರಿ ಅದು?
ಸರ್ ಆಲ್ರೆಡಿ ಇದು ಟೂ ಮಚ್ ಆಫ್ ದಿಸ್ ಥಿಂಗ್ ವಾಸ್ ದೇರ್ ಸರ್, ಪೆಂಡಿಂಗ್ ತುಂಬಾ ಇತ್ತು.
ಮಾಡಿದ್ರಾಗಿತ್ತು.
ಎಸ್ ಸರ್, ವಿ ವಿಲ್ ಆಡ್ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್.
Better to give that. Just one template ಇಟ್ಕೊಂಡು ಕೊಡೋದಲ್ಲ.
Sure sir, sure.
Ramesh sir, there is a network issue from your end, sir. Please connect to LAN, sir, if possible, rather than Wi-Fi.
ಶ್ರೀಕಾಂತ್ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡೋದ ಹೇಗೆ ಕೌಶಿಕ್? ನೀವು wait
we will
ಮಾಡ್ತಿದ್ದೀರಾ?
we will start.
Sir, we will start.
We will
sir.
start.
We will start, sir. The
Yeah,
numbers
because
are increasing,
already
so I was
11:06.
just waiting for one more minute, sir. Okay, fine. All right, sir. We will start. Yeah. Good morning to everyone. Welcome to yet another webinar on entrepreneurship development in fisheries sector, showcasing the opportunities, challenges, and best practices for the startups by Navik Agribusiness Incubation Center ICR Nivedi, and in collaboration with KSTA Karnataka. I welcome you all for the webinar. Now I request Dr. Satish B. Shivachandra sir to give the welcome address, sir. Please, sir.
So thank you, Kaushik, and let me welcome once again all the participants and today's speakers to today's webinar. As I already mentioned, today's webinar topic is entrepreneurship development in fisheries sector, showcasing opportunities, challenges, and best practices of startups. So we know that after the agriculture, like livestock sector and fisheries sectors are the leading sectors, and they have huge opportunities for the startups to come up, and there is a business opportunity. So I guess the young entrepreneurs will take benefit of that. So in view of this, and we took up this webinar topic. And for this one, we have distinguished 3 speakers for today's webinar. And the first one is Dr. George Ninan, and he is a principal scientist and as well as the principal investigator of Agribusiness Incubator, which is in ICR, CIFT, Kochi. And on behalf of Navik, ICR Nivedi, and KSTA, I welcome you, sir, for today's webinar.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
So we have another speaker who is Mr. Srijit Gurikar, CEO of Pacos Innovations Private Limited. And on behalf of Navik and KSTA, I welcome you, sir, for today's webinars. Srijit, sir, are you there?
Hello, sir. Good afternoon. Yeah, thanks for the
Good morning.
invitation.
We welcome you for today's webinar, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Yeah. So now we have another third speaker, the Mr. R. Vijayan. He is a state program manager, PMMSY, Department of Fisheries, and Government of Andhra Pradesh. So we, Navik and KSTA, welcome you for today's webinar, sir. Vijayan, sir.
Sir,
Okay.
he will be joining in a moment.
Okay, fine. So on behalf of Navik and KSTA, I welcome our CEO, Dr. Ramesh sir from KSTA, and Dr. Ayyappan sir from the KSTA, who is the chairman for the KSTA, that is Karnataka Science and Technology Academy of Government of Karnataka, Bangalore. And I welcome Dr. B.R. Shaw, who is the director of ICR Nivedi for today's webinar. And I also welcome all my colleagues, Dr. Mudasar Chandra, Manjunath Reddy, Dr. Yogesh Aradhya, and Navik team, Srikanth, Arsha, Kaushik, and Akshata. So I welcome all the participants who are very important for today's webinar. Especially the students from the agricultural universities, fisheries colleges, and all the young entrepreneurs from different parts of India. So hope that it's a good learning time for everyone, and to look into the fisheries sector, which is untapped sector, we say that in the agriculture and allied sector, and it has a huge potential for even the export of several fish and fisheries products. So, and hope that most of you will get benefited from today's speakers' insights into the topic. And with this note, and once again, I welcome all the participants and the speakers and all my team. So, thank you all.
Thank you, sir, for the welcome address. Now I request Mr. Srikanth Patra, who is the business manager of Navik, to give the introduction of today's speakers. Please, sir, over to you.
Thank you, Kaushik. Let me give an introduction of our honorable speakers. To start with, we have with us George Neenan, sir, who is the Principal Scientist, PICO, ABI, ICR, CIFT. And he has done his PhD in Industrial Fisheries from CUSAT with more than 25 years of research experience in ICAR. His major areas of achievement is in post-harvesting, handling and processing of commercially imported marine and freshwater fishery resources. He has undertaken several projects on shelf-life and quality evaluation of different marine and freshwater commercial fish species. Also, he has developed high-value byproducts from fisheries waste associated with projects on fisheries waste management utilization. Along with that, he's associated with many research projects such as promotion of processing and marketing of fresh fish products in India, interventions in processing and preservations. He has also associated with many other activities and an active member in Interdepartmental Panel Government of India for approval of fish processing export units, member of NABL internal audit team at the Institute. He is also the course writer for the diploma course in fish processing technology offered by IGNOU. He's an expert member of PMFME scheme, Ministry of Food Processing, Government of India. I welcome you, sir, on the behalf of NAVIC and KSTA. Then we have with us R. Vijayan, sir, who is a PhD MSc from Loyola College with specialization in fisheries marine biology. He's currently pursuing his PhD in ICR SIBA, Chennai. He has more than 17 years of experience in the capacities of business management, incubation management, research in leading institute like National Institute of Ocean Technology, ICR SIBA, NFDB. He has carried near and managed Hyderabad. He has carried more than 1,000 proposals on evaluation of different projects and capacities under fish technology and fish entrepreneurship. Presently, he is working as a state program manager at Department of Fisheries, Government of Andhra Pradesh, Vijayawada, under PMFSOI scheme of Department of Fisheries, Ministry of Fisheries, Animal Husbandry, Dairy, Government of India. I welcome you, sir, on the behalf of ICR Nivedi and KSTA. Our third speaker is Mr. Srijit Gurikar, who is a gusty entrepreneur, a civil engineering by profession from CMRIT Bangalore. He has got a very particular skill set on aquaphonic design, filtration, commercialization of aquaponics. He is a bachelor in civil engineering with a professional in architectural design. His company Spacos Innovation is empaneled in National Fisheries Development Board as an equipment and manufacturing supplier and a consultant form of technical and managerial support. Under his companies, under his belt, he has nearly more than 25 commercial aquaphonic projects across South India, more than 25 semi-commercial projects, including premier institutes such as NFDB Hyderabad, Krishi Vigyan Kendra Baramati, Erode, Bhavani Sagar Center for Sustainable Aquaculture, more than 50 domestic aquaphonics and RX projects, more than 20 residential building construction, 15 interior design projects on aquaphonics, and 30 external elevations. On the behalf of KSTA, ICR Nivedi, I welcome you, sir. So we will go. So now we will be going with the presentation. I request Dr. George Neenan, sir, kindly present. George Neenan, sir.
George, sir, please try to share your presentation, sir.
George, sir, please unmute yourself and speak, sir. You're muted. Sir, please unmute yourself. George, sir, please unmute yourself, sir. Sir, you should be able to see mute, stop video. There, that option will be there.
That option is there, but it's not working.
No.
Yeah, it is working, sir. We are able to hear you.
Yeah. Are you able to see my slides?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. We are able to see
Okay,
your
okay.
screen as well, sir. Just to make
Okay.
it full screen, then it will be fine, sir.
1 minute, 1 minute.
Okay.
Is it okay now? Are you seeing my slide?
Yes, sir. It's perfect.
Okay. So thank you for inviting me for this webinar on sustainable fishing actually. This is, I presume this is being organized by Nivedi and KSTA. Of course, our former DG Ayyappan sir is also there in KSTA. I think he must be there for this webinar also. He was our former DG and he was mentoring all our institutes as a Director General of ICAR. So thank you once again for calling me for this important webinar on entrepreneurship development in fisheries. Myself, George Nainan, I'm a principal scientist. Already I have been introduced to this audience. And I presume that, can you see me now? Can you see me? Hello?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So there is some problem with my screen. I'm not able to see you. That is what.
It's minimized, sir.
It is coming now. Okay. It is okay. So I am in charge of the Agri Business Incubation Center in ICAR CIFT. So this is one of the first incubation center in fisheries in India. So as you know, ICAR has started this entrepreneurship development program way back in 2010 as a World Bank funded project. And now under Indian Council of Agriculture Research, we have almost 50 agri-business incubation centers in different domains in agriculture. And in fisheries, we have 8 institutes in ICAR and we have 4 incubation centers in different domains of fisheries. So we belong to the Central Institute of Fisheries Technology. We belong to this particular domain of post-harvest technology of fisheries. Are you able to see my presentation?
No, sir.
Something that's again some problem there. Okay, it's opening now. Okay,
Yes.
Let me introduce to this topic. So we have some 8 institutes wherein we have 4 agri-business incubation centers in fisheries. Each one has a special domain. For us, it is post-harvest technology of fisheries. Whereas we have our fellow institutes like we have SIBA in Chennai, and we have CMFRI, we have Central Institute of Fisheries Education, we have Central Institute of Fisheries, Central Inland Fisheries Research Institute, SIFRI, SIFA we have. So all these institutes, out of this institute, we have 4 incubation centers, and we do have different catering to the different domains in fisheries. Then coming to the incubation program, now it is a National Agriculture Innovation Fund program under ICAR. Of course, these agri-business incubation centers were started in ICAR in 2016, and it is running for the 5th year now, 2021. That comes under National Agriculture Innovation Fund. So in my presentation will be very brief because the organizers have given me only 10 minutes for my presentation. I am just telling what is the mechanism of agri-business incubation in our institute and how we are hand-holding the entrepreneurs, what are the entrepreneur-ready technologies, and some of the few products I will list out. This will be a gist of my presentation. So let me start with my presentation now. So I already told you about the National Agriculture Innovation Fund scheme under which this agri-business incubation centers act as a hub of technology transfer and techno-entrepreneurship. So this NAF scheme actually contributed towards the development of an IP environment in ICAR. And all its institutes are empowered to handle technology management activities at the institute level itself and listen with private clients for the commercial transfer of the technologies. And we have 10 subject-specific zonal technology management centers for facilitating public-private partnership. In fisheries, we have a zonal technology management center in CIFT, which is being handled by me only. I'm in charge of zonal technology management center for fisheries as well as the ABA center in CIFT. So the zonal technology management center for fisheries caters to the fisheries technology transfer activities in the fisheries domain, which comes under all ICAR fisheries institutes. There are 8 ICAR fisheries institutes. So these zonal centers are interested in the promotion of technologies available in various institutes from their respective zones. So, and we have a central IP and technology management mechanism which is operational to the ICAR headquarters, and that is the IPTM division, which is heading all these IP and related activities. And we have presently almost 50 agri-business incubators in various institutes. And apart from that, ICAR also has technology business incubators. For example, now we have a technology business incubator. NDRI, we have a TBA, apart from all this ABA. And we also have a company, registered company, Agri Innovate India under ICAR, a company owned by DARE, and to act as an effective interface between ICAR, TMCs and ABA centers on one side and stakeholders on the agriculture sector on the other side. And ours is the first fisheries business incubation center with and the TMC in fisheries at CFT Cochin. And we have transferred numerous technologies through this incubation mechanism, which goes in tandem with the flagship programs of the Government of India schemes such as Atmanirbhar Bharat, Swachh Bharat, the National Mission for Green India, Blue Revolution Mission, and of late we have the PMFME scheme under MOFPA, wherein CFT acts as a mentor institute for all common incubation centers. And we have promoted so many technologies, for example, the green technologies, solar dryers, energy efficient fishing vessels. These are all being the technologies promoted by us that I will come to after a few slides. So presently we are catering out to more than 200 small and medium-sized technology and technology-enabled enterprises through this TMC and ABA mechanism. So we are acting as a platform to create a new technology-based industries, particularly in the fisheries sector, and our domain in the post-harvest sector. But there are other agri-business incubation centers who cater to the other sectors also. For example, aquaculture technologies, cage culture technologies, fish feed formulation technologies. All these technologies are being catered by the other agri-business incubation centers. But our forte is mainly the post-harvest technology of fisheries, value addition, product development, and processing machineries, etc., etc. So we provide proactive and value-added business services for the registered incubators in the form of technology transfer, contract research, consultancies, contract service, office space, certified state-of-the-art pilot-level production facility, on-site guidance, and specialized trainings to establish technology-based enterprises. So in a nutshell, we are providing technology-enabled services to the entrepreneurs. But we don't provide any sort of capital to the entrepreneurs, like many of the other incubation centers like TBAs. They provide some sort of seed capital or venture funding, but we don't have that sort of funding to the entrepreneurs. But we provide technology-enabled support services to the entrepreneurs. So the incubators we allow startups as well as established business enterprises to access to new innovations, cutting-edge technologies, and scientific know-how. And also we provide the virtual incubation, which provides services to the clients across the country and also abroad also. Business incubation is a selective, comprehensive service offering that aims to accelerate the growth of small and micro enterprises in the country. I'm audible and clear now. No problem in slide now.
No problem, sir. Perfect. All right, sir.
Okay.
Please go ahead.
Okay. So over the years, we were catering to different classes of entrepreneurs. You can see our categories of entrepreneurs we cater to through this TM and ABA center. We mainly cater to the food manufacturing industry, seafood processing industry, then to a certain extent to retail fish processing fish industry, commercial fish unit manufacturers, operators, marketing firms, even seafood exporters, fish farmers to a limited scale. So these are the different categories of entrepreneurs who were incubated at SETIM ABA Center for various business operations. And the stages of business incubation, as you very well know, there are different stages in a business incubation. The clientele of our ABA Center includes startup firms who need basic level of technology to high-end business firms in need of R&D backup. So we have different clientele, clienteles with different requirements. There are young startup firms who doesn't have even a background in fisheries. There are people who are at high level, for example, a seafood processing unit. They need to address a specific problem. They need to optimize a process unit, a product a process optimization for a product. So we cater to different sections of the enterprise. So that can be from the novice who doesn't have any idea about the fisheries, and it can be to a well-established firm also. And we have multi-tenant infrastructure facilities suitable to start corporate level office also for direct incubators. We provide them even office facilities here in our ABA center. Direct incubation is intended to handhold the clients. We have both the incubation direct as well as the virtual incubation. So we provide mainly the handholding to the clients through the direct incubation. So we allow whenever startups and incubators approach us through a mechanism which is clearly defined by the IPTM from ICR, we have a clear-cut selection process for the incubators. And once the incubators are selected, they are basically hand-holded through this incubation process. And this incubators, the normal residency period of an incubator will be maximum to 6 months to 1 year, not more than that, as you know, but it can be, to certain cases, it can be extended up to 2 years. And that is only for a special case that depending on the recommendation of the Institute Technology Management Unit from the Institute. So through this process, we handhold the incubators and we give them the handhold technology backup support. We allow them to optimize the process. We allow them to develop the technologies into a viable product. We allow them to trial production of the products and go for the test marketing of the product. To that level, we extended to help them. So it is residency period will be normally 1 year, but of course, most of our incubators will complete the residency period by 6 months. So can be extended also. And they have to pay their incubators for every services. We are charging the incubators, but of course on a nominal rate. For example, office space it is charged. Technology transfer is chargeable. Using your pilot plans is chargeable, but everything is under nominal rate as per the ICR guideline only. And we provide an array of services from idea stage to the product launch. We assist the incubators in translating the idea into a technology. It doesn't mean that the incubators are essentially bound to take the ICR technologies or the institute technologies for developing a product or for making a viable business venture. Those incubators are welcome who have a very novel idea. Our scientists and our technical people will handhold them to develop this novel idea into a viable product. So this also the services are offered by us. And we select the showcase technologies among the institutes and internal research laboratories. And we classify the technologies according to the TRL level. TRL level, I'm not going to explain to the technology readiness level. From the concept stage up to the commercializable level, we have different levels in the technology. So according to the TRL level, we classify our technologies and we offer these to our clients. And other service also, we provide the patent portfolio management, fund mobilization from the other agencies, financial advisory, test marketing, prototype testing, feasibility analysis, preparation of DPR. All these services are a part and parcel of our ABA incubation services. And also we provide database and software on IP search, market data analytics, funding sources are also available through our business incubation center. So these are some of the few technologies. Because the time period is short, I am just listing out the technologies also. I am not going into detail any of the technologies. So these are some of the technologies, entrepreneur ready technologies we offer. CIFT is offering for the fisheries sector. And most of these technologies are mainly concerned the harvest and post-harvest sector. I'm not mentioning any other technologies, but there are many potential technologies available to the other ABA centers in aquaculture and other areas of fisheries. But these technologies are mainly in the harvest and post-harvest domain. For example, in the harvest, we have these technologies for vessel, gear, and craft and gear and everything. Value addition, we have a number of technologies. And engineering, we have the process machines and other things for the fish processing. Waste utilization, that's a very important category because waste management is a big problem in fisheries sector. But this waste, now we term as a secondary raw material for the high value products. So there are very many viable technologies for converting the secondary raw material into high value viable products. And we prepare a lot of products, even some of the products are even nutraceuticals and healthcare products. So these are a few technologies which are listed, which are the commercially viable technologies from our institute. So this is our category of technology transfer we have carried out during the past 5 years. That is for the technology part under different mode of consultancy, technology transfer, consultancy, collaborative research, contract research programs, and contract services. These are the professional service functions which are being carried out by our agribusiness incubation centers. And this is in a nutshell what about the technology readiness level, which I mentioned previously. So it is a set of management metrics that enable the assessment of a particular technology and the consistent comparison of maturity between different types of technology, all in the context of a specific system. In a simple concept, it is from level 1 from concept evaluation up to the level 7 successful deployment, so that your final product will be a commercially viable product. So we do this technology readiness level exercise in each of our institutes, and we provide the entrepreneurs which products at the different TRL levels. And we also de-risk the technologies for the successful commercialization through our ABA. So incubating can take up a commercial product and using large-scale production facilities, including machineries and instruments set up in the pilot plant attached to the institute. This facility will be limited to the identified entrepreneurs for a limited period, essentially linked with the test marketing and market behavior analysis phase. They have to discontinue the use of pilot plant facilities once they are graduated with successful product in the market. So this is a very useful thing because they don't have to invest a lot of money in procuring technology and procuring facilities for the production of process production and etc. So it is a sort of de-risking the technology. They can successfully produce, they can successfully optimize their products, their processes, and they can successfully go for the test market. And once they're confident with the level of success they earn, they can then go for the commercial product. So to that level, we are de-risking their technologies for successful commercialization. So some of the, just I'm mentioning a few technologies like responsible harvest system, which I already mentioned. This is basically for the harvest sector, responsible trod systems. This is some of the technical terms like off-guard, I presume that my audience will be from the different sections, not only fisheries students, but I'm just mentioning some of the technologies, major technologies listed out earlier, like trawl systems, off-bottom trawl system. This is for the harvest sector. Bycatch reduction devices, energy efficient fishing vessels, that is very important, energy efficient fishing vessels, green energy, green technology, reduction of carbon emission, all these are very important. So some of the energy efficient green technologies, Sagar Kripa, Sagar Harida, under the Blue Revolution scheme, we are providing this energy efficient deep sea vessel designs to different state departments also. Then solar powered fishing boat, sun boat for reservoirs and small water bodies. Then unconventional wood like rubber wood and coconut wood for this particular fishing small scale sectors. Then coming to the post-harvest sector technologies, different products, potted fish products, fish sausages, fish different types of pickles, fish wafers, fish crackers, fish paste, fish protein powder, ready to serve fish curry in retort pouches. This is a very highly commercialized technology. Silage from fish product. I told you fish waste utilization, different useful byproducts, fish silage. Folia spray, this is also from the fish waste. Fish incorporated extruded snack products. And livestock and aqua feed from fish processing discards. Solar fish dryers, this is some of the machineries which we promote for the small scale fish sector. Drying of fish is a very, we can do using our solar dryers and other dryers. We can do this drying in a very hygienic manner, and this is one of our most successfully commercialized technologies. So all these fish dryers, solar fish dryers, other dryers with backup system, there are a number of dryer units are available with our institute. So these are some of the few technologies I was trying to list them out. I'm just trying to give an idea in which are the domains our institute is working and what are the technologies we offer to the entrepreneurs. And some of the success stories from India. See, we have lot many incubators, but recently we have one from one only 21-year-old guy who has started a business on ready-to-eat stuffed mussel. Mussel is a delicacy in Kerala and the coastal regions. It is just like clams and mussels. Mussels is a highly valued product. So this young entrepreneurs approaches us to have a particular dish that is called the stuffed mussel. This is a delicacy in Kerala and other parts. Okay, but stuffed mussel, the problem is this high perishability. So he wanted to go for the retort pouch packing for this stuffed mussel, so that which can enhance the shelf life of this stuffed product. In fact, we have intervened and we have helped them to develop a technology, appropriate technology for this enhancing the shelf life through appropriate packaging. We have developed a thermal processing technique, high temperature processing. We have optimized the process, and we have developed a product for him, the stuffed mussel in retort pouch. He was an incubator who registered with us. Now his products are available in most of the supermarkets in Kerala, and this is that product, particular product. Now he has a lot of export orders for also for products. This is called the stuffed mussel product in ready-to-eat product in pouches. So that is called Kallumekka in Malayalam. That is a very delicacy here. It is available in the hypermarket and all these things. And he is coming from the place called Calicut, wherein they have a lot of demand for this product. And now he is targeting the NRIs outside the Gulf and other countries where they have a liking for this product. And he is trying to market it to the NRIs in Gulf and other countries. And another intervention, what we had, a successful commercial, is a fortified fish soup powder, which is a deterrent for malnutrition. Now we have a World Fish Project. It's a FAO funded program through which we are promoting this fortified fish soup powder in different states in India, including Karnataka. We have a program in Karnataka. We have a program in Odisha. We have a program in Northeast states. In Odisha, the Odisha government has approved this particular product. This is a fortified fish soup powder, and they have already permitted it to be used for the midday meal program, especially for the infants and children as a deterrent for malnutrition. So now a lot of commercial units are coming up for providing this particular product. This is a fortified fish soup powder. The formulation is essentially from CIFT, and we work together with the FAO program, the World Fish program, to commercialize this product and to showcase it as an effective deterrent for malnutrition. And that is going to be adopted in many of the northeastern states in their midday meal program. This is another success story from our part. So this is in a nutshell. I want to tell out our incubation activities in the fisheries post-harvest sector and how we handhold and incubate it. Since the time is short, I will just stop my presentation now. And now we can let the other panelists also speak. Then we can go for the question answer, the discussion part. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir, for giving a detailed presentation on the incubation activities at CIFT Cochins and the different incubators you have handled and the different technologies which are available at CIFT Cochin. Now I request Srijit Gulikar to give his presentation on the behalf of Srijit. Umesh?
Yes.
Umesh, can you present on the behalf of Srijit?
On behalf of Srijit ji, I have to present.
Yes.
Okay.
Srijit, are you ready?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Okay.
Just a minute. Srijit ji, can you please try to share from your end? Because I have given privileges. If it is not possible, I will address.
Yeah,
Start
right,
sharing
right.
from mine. Okay.
There's a share screen button at the bell.
Yes, perfect.
Is it visible?
Yes, it's visible. Please make it slideshow. Yeah, done. Perfect. Please go ahead, sir.
So, good morning, everyone. So myself, Srijit Gurikar, CEO, Specos Innovations Private Limited, Karnataka. So thanks for the opportunity to share my knowledge and my experience regarding my entrepreneur journey from past 3 years in aquaculture industry. So thanks for all the panel members who are all there from Navik and Haika Nivedi, Bangalore. So thanks for George Innan sir for sharing so much of knowledge, which I got to know about so many things. I got it today. So thanks for the beautiful presentation what you have shared. So we are actually Specos Innovations. We started our company in the year 2018 July. So just go for the brief why we started our company and what's the what to call why we need to start this company in what manner. Just have an example of the early earth what we have faced. We have heard about ancient sages living up to 150 years of age. Life expectancy of the people of our ancient civilization could have been easily 120 years. But how? How they lived that much of beautiful life? Because of their lifestyle, food habits, environment, and exercise routine, and some of the most vital factors. So food habits, what they followed, the food they used to consume was efficiently very nutrient rich, free of all the chemicals, and more closer to nature than what we are indigesting today. So what is the present earth what we are facing? The excessive use of fertilizers, pesticides, and numerous poisonous chemicals has decreased our life expectancy from 120 years to just imagine we are reduced it to 50 years. So any more usage of these chemicals will definitely lead to the extinction of the mankind. So what the food we consume is basically poison turned tasty, and it is high time that we change our food habits. So what's the current scenario of the earth? So more than 70% of the water bodies are unable to feed the future as of now. So, and the water and land is almost contaminated by heavy metals. So almost 87% of world's ocean are dying. So just imagine, more than 70% of world's fish species have been fully exploited. So according to fish demand, so FAO, fish demand is 19 kg per capita, but now it is only producing 7 kg. And the main problem India what is facing is the malnutrition because of the inorganic vegetables and meat what we are using. So why we are initiated to start our company? So what's the motto behind it? The reason why we initiated our company is because of rising concern towards the food crisis, which is due happen in a very next future. So our main aim is to local farmers as much as possible and spreading the awareness about the organic farming and its many benefits. So actually we are into in aquaculture industry, we are into RAS and aquaponics, which working towards growing fish and vegetables. So RAS, the complete brief is recirculatory aquaculture system. So we can conserve the water with that and we can grow more number of fishes. As you can think of pond culture or lake culture, why we are growing the fishes and all. In 1 acre of pond, that means 1000 liter of water, we can grow only one fish. Instead of in RAS or aquaponics, we can grow in 20 liter, you can grow one fish. So that's the technology we are trying to adopt in Karnataka and wherever. Why we started this is the main crisis. I will explain in the next slides. Okay. So the main crisis is the water only. So that we are planning to enter in this sector. So our main motto is to serve farmers who are mainly dependent on rainwater, dam water, and reservoirs, especially in drought regions across India, as it covers 42% of our total agricultural land. Just imagine, all over India, we have 42% of what I call drought region area. So instead of this, we can if we can start implementing RAS and aquaponics. So what's the growth and how we will be getting the yield of fish and vegetables? Just imagine that sector. So we have started initiation to start our company. So how the farmers are benefited from this? The main thing is we are replacing the complete traditional way of fish farming, and we are increasing fish density from 1 fish to 30 to 50 numbers. So we are not using the soil, so it is called as soilless culture. So it is fully organic. So using plants and naturally occurring bacteria we are using for clean the water. So the main problem in agriculture or aquaculture, we are facing this labor issue. So up to 70% of the labor cost is reducing here, and we are getting 365 days production. So there will be no space constraints to do these projects. So we are not using no heavy machineries also. And depending upon the water type of your region, you can choose your fish as well as plants to cultivate. And it is about twice as fast as soil garden, continuously feeding the plants with required nutrients and growing in a protected environment prevent from crop failure also. So getting two outputs from one input. That means, so we are feeding the fishes. From feeding the fishes, we are getting one type of fish and one type of vegetables also. So from two outputs, you are getting from only one input. So it is a improved technologies and mechanization enabled. So what we have achieved actually, so we started our small unit at Chitradurga. It is a very dry region area in Karnataka. We started with a small project of 2,500 liter capacity of water with 250 number of fishes and some 6 grow beds to show our thing. So what we can show, because in sun region, it will be in a very high temperature, and in cold temperature it will be very low. So we started doing this project in Chitradurga with a pilot project. We got successful in that. Then we went to NFDB about our project and all. So NFDB also very much interested about our thing, and they gave space for us. So from 2008 till now, we have completed around 25 recirculatory aquaculture projects under Pradhana Mantri Matsya Sampada Yojana last year. And we have completed around 30 pond culture with genetic improved species like Jayanti Rohu and Amur Carp and Gift Tilapia. Like that and all, we are giving the guidance in Karnataka region. And we have completed around 10 aquaponics, including commercial one and rooftop gardening thing and balcony things also. And in one district in Karnataka, in Tumkur only, we have completed around 15 projects of RAS last year. So we have 5 members of team, and we have completed around 60 plus farmers, and we have installed around 140 ponds in Karnataka and in what do you call it, including Hyderabad NFDB and Krishi Vigyana Kendra Baramati. Okay, and we have got around 40 lakh revenue in past 2 years, and we have produced 20 tons of fishes overall. So recently, the main strategic update is we have empaneled from National Fisheries Development Board to supply the equipment and the manufacturing throughout India, and we have a consultant firm and technical managerial support in fisheries and aquaculture under Pradhana Mantri Matsya Sampada Yojana for next 2 years. So, and we have our own aquaculture center that is called as one-stop solution for the farmers. Okay, so we are supplying all the guidance what farmers are required from our side regarding any technology or anything regarding PMMSY scheme or aquaculture thing, and we are doing the water testing, soil testing, and disease management activities also in Karnataka. So the plan ahead is we have to cover all the districts in Karnataka and pan-India presence. So basically, who are we? We are actually the engineers, farmers, educators, and designers who have a passion for growing healthy food, conserving resources, and improving our planet for future generation. Our team is dedicated to providing high quality aquaponics systems, supplies, and training programs for residential, school, community, government, non-profit, and international applications. So thank you. For any questions regarding how we started or anything, so please ask in the question board. Thank you.
Thank you, Srijit, for giving us the overview of your firm and what you are doing. So we will take the questions at the panel discussions. Now I request Simon Vijay. Vijay sir, are you online?
Yes, yes.
Vi-
Sir is there.
Vijay sir, Vijay sir, can you hear me?
Vijay sir,
Vijay
can
sir?
you hear us?
Otherwise, we will finish your talk. After this, by 10 minutes. Finish that one. Okay, sir. Then, fine.
So that
Vijay
is
sir.
the first one. But your working capital is increasing. That's why. Yeah.
Vijay sir, can you hear me? Sir, kindly unmute.
So now one person requests that one. I sent you the.
Shrikantji, can you please call to Simon sir? I think he is busy in other works. Just reminder call.
I will check Simon. So I think we can start the panel discussion. In between, Vijay will also join with the question answer session. So I request George sir to initiate the discussion. We have with us Dr. Chandrakant Lingan sir and Lakshmi sir. Lakshmi madam is going to join. Umesh?
Yes.
Okay, so let's initiate the discussion. Sir, over to you, sir.
Okay, let the other panelists join later. Now we had two presentations, one from myself, basically on post-harvest technologies, and the second one from Mr. Srijit regarding RA system, aquaculture, aquaponics. So now for the time being, we'll have a discussion on these aspects regarding what are the areas of entrepreneurship wherein we can chip in, or if somebody wants to have an idea about that. If you have some queries on these aspects, you can directly address now. So we can have a discussion, if anything related to my domain or Mr. Srijit's domain. Now the floor is open that you can pose questions to us, which will start the discussion part. For example, I have listed out so many technologies and our mechanism, which may not be clear to many of us. And the other aspects, the finer details, all these things can be discussed here. That is what we should go for. Okay. So any queries from the fellow panelists part, or anybody who is audience, they can very well address now.
I request Dr. Chandrakant sir to enlighten us with some of the works that can be done in this entrepreneurship development, so that we can initiate the discussion. Dr. Chandrakant sir, can you kindly unmute?
Okay, thank you. Yeah,
Yes, sir.
my just first question to Dr. George Ninan, sir.
Yes.
I told about this fortified fish soup powder, okay, sir?
Yes.
So we came to already know that it is very popular in Orissa, sir.
Yeah.
Hello.
I can hear you. I can hear you.
Yeah, it is popular in Orissa, but I want to know where in this place in Karnataka it has been implemented, sir.
Actually, we in Karnataka, we are not gone for commercial scale operations. Still a pilot study. We have selected some districts actually. In Orissa, in fact, we come to the second stage wherein through the Worldfish program, the government has introduced it in the midday meal program. In Karnataka, we have already started with the pilot scale, and now it is up to the authorities to adopt it. So now production has started in Karnataka, Orissa, but we are going for the pilot scale production and the commercial that introduction in the midday meal program. It's a part of the Worldfish funded project.
Okay, sir. And moreover, we have a research station here in Uttarakhand district near Karwa, sir.
Okay.
So if you want to have any collaboration with our center to implement, we are ready to work with you, sir.
Yeah, definitely. Our because in this particular program, actually, we have a lot of pilot scale studies going on regarding the food habit of the people. Actually, we cannot introduce this product wherein there is no fish consumption. Actually, people should have a preference for fish. Then only they will accept this sort of product. So we have an extension team working with us. They are in alliance with all state departments and KVKs and other people. So they are selecting the people, and they are in fact they are studying their consumer preferences. So based on that only we can recommend this sort of products to the government or other agencies. So when that part of things come, we will be definitely in touch with you.
Okay, thank you, sir.
So good morning, sir. Manan, sir.
Good morning. Good morning.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Sorry, sir, some inconveniences.
That's
So,
okay.
yes, sir. Sir,
Please.
if there is no questions, shall I just share about the opportunities, sir?
Yeah, please, you can start, then we can go for this. Yeah.
Yes, sir. Sir. Yeah. Shall I proceed, sir? Yes, sir. Shall I proceed, sir?
You please proceed, please.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you, sir. Yeah, sir. So very good morning to all the participants. Sorry for the inconvenience. So I'm joining late. So the topic is given that's entrepreneurship and fishing opportunities and startups and entrepreneurs. So already our two panelists discussed regarding what are the technologies, what are the opportunities available in this sector, and
Nice.
yes, that's right. Yeah, someone I think please mute your thing. Yeah, please. Sir. Yeah, as Nayan sir said, ICR institution have business planning and development or ITM, Institute Technology Management Unit. So there, what are the technologies they're developing? It is ready for commercialization, and also entrepreneurs come forward. Yes. Entrepreneurs come forward, the government of India is having a lot of schemes. They can come forward and apply through the state fisheries department. So then they can avail the subsidy and they can implement this. What are the technologies available and are any innovative technologies also they can apply and they can get it and they can implement. So startups, and as I said already, we have government of India schemes in RK Raftar also, and even in Niveti, they have that RABA. So any startup they can also apply there. And again, sir said we have a lot of ITM unit in ICR institution like NAM and even Cochin SIFT itself. There's a zonal project unit. So sir is heading that unit. So like that, lot of things are there. And in an hour, especially for my talk today, regarding the PMMSY, Pradhan Mantri Manje Sambada Yojana. So last year it was launched. This is the second year. So it's all scheme routed through State Fisheries Department. Anyone is interested, you can apply the schemes that is available in the website, NFDB website as well as Government of India website. And required, I can also share the guidelines. What are the schemes are available? Which are the schemes are eligible? The entrepreneurs or startup can also apply. So like that, you can come forward and take the things and do the sector is more viable and you can do the sustainable business model. And all the institutions and even the scheme, we have the incubation center new. Any institutes can come forward and the scheme is there for like our BPD NAB scheme. We have that incubation center in this Pradhan Mantri Matsya Sambada Yojana. So even SIFT can also come forward and start initiative like that. So, and Srijit itself is one of the beneficiary for the NFDB. He has taken this Aqua Center as well as this RAS system. And in Cochin also, QSAT, Dr. Bracing sir, he's developed the RAS system and the technology has transferred. And now it's combined in this PMMSS scheme. So like that, a lot of opportunities are there. And I just apologize my this thing. I couldn't present that slides, some inconveniences. Definitely, I'll share to Srikanth. He will circulate to the participants. The opportunities are there, plenty up there, and anyone come for a research. Especially, I forgot to tell this scheme and for job oriented like Sagar Mitras, especially for the coastal villages. Every coastal villages they have the scheme Sagar Mitras. So there's a BFP as a fishery graduate, they can avail the scheme. They can work for these 5 years. Like that, we have this thing. Manchesheva Kendra. It has to also come like a previous our Aqua Center. So through states, whomever is interested, they can apply the scheme and they can get it done. So like that, lot of the opportunities are there, and this my thing. Anyone come forward and we can discuss. Sir, just sir. Oh, teacher.
Sir, you are on mute, sir. Please unmute.
Okay, thank you, Vijayan sir. Actually, now I'm audible now. Can hear me? Yeah, there are a lot
Yes.
of opportunities are available in the PMMSI scheme, which he has told about in brief. Actually, details can be had from him only because unfortunately he could not present it but anyhow, he has given a gist of what is PMMSY and what are the options in that one. Similarly, PMMSY is mainly for the fisheries sector through the departments. So I am also insisting about the other scheme, that PMFME scheme under MOFPA, Ministry of Food Processing Industry, wherein there are a lot of options for post-harvest technology and value addition. Right? Basically, because being comes under Ministry of Food Processing Industry, PMFME scheme is similar to PMMSY scheme. Almost the same allocation for PMFM, almost 20,000 crores is allocated for PMFME scheme. In various states, common incubation centers are coming up. Already, most of the states are applied for the common incubation centers. And there are a lot of options for value addition. The entrepreneurs who want to establish business in value addition, they can opt for this PMFME scheme also. And there are talks on convergence of these two schemes also, PMFME and PMMSY. So in the near future itself, we have a lot of options. The only thing is that through which agency you are going to utilize and what is your ideal domain that you are to set it. Thank you, Vijayan sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
There is a
Yeah,
there is a
sorry.
question from the audience.
Yeah.
There is a question from the audience. The question is, if somebody is from non-fisheries background, from where he will start his entrepreneurship career in fisheries? How to start with it?
Okay, very good. Because I didn't mention about that aspect actually. In fact, presently we have 3 groups in our incubation center. We are running a mentorship program for these groups, and none of them belongs to fisheries sector actually. They're all engineering students, BTech students. Actually, 2 of them are doing very good because they're trying to develop some sensors. Suppose one is working on a freshness sensor. So it is just like an app in your mobile. So when you go to your fish market, the main problem is to tell whether the fish is fresh or not, whether the fish is spoiled. It is very difficult to identify which one is a fresh fish or a spoiled fish. So these guys are working on developing a particular app which can be loaded in your mobile, and you can easily detect the fresh and spoiled fish. But none of these people are from the fisheries background. They're engineering BTech students, but their idea got promoted by, in fact, they approached us through Kerala Startup Mission, that's a state department agency. So we are providing the mentorship, and hopefully they have already done their prototype and other things. So even if you are from the non-fisheries background, and another group is working on the transportation systems, live transportation, fish transportation system. They are also a group of engineers actually, and they are being supported by the startup mission from the state. Our difficulty is that we cannot monetarily help them. Okay, if they want some sort of seed capital and other things, we are helpless. But they have the other avenues like from the startup mission and other, they can very well get the capital. And these people are also getting funds from the other agencies. But we are essentially running a mentorship program for them. And this is, and one most important thing, and these are their ideas only. It is not the CFT idea or the ICR idea. It is their idea. We are only providing a mentorship, and we are helping them to convert it into a viable business model. And also we are giving the technical support to our scientists and technical staff.
Okay. There is one more question from one startup. So they are into aquaculture ponds where they have piloted a IoT-based parameter monitoring system. They want to get the support for it. How incubator will be eligible to help them?
That IoT, this is basically into the aquaculture, I think. Okay.
Yes.
They want to get help on IoT-based this thing. Okay.
Exactly.
Okay. So I think we have other business incubation centers even in ICR system itself. We have one in Simba, and we have one in the Central Institute of Brackish Water Aquaculture as well as Central Institute of Freshwater Aquaculture. Both these institutes have agri-business incubation centers. They can very well help you in this regard.
Okay. So is there any other schemes for IoT in fisheries?
IoT in fisheries, as on now, we don't have any projects currently running on that. Okay.
Okay. So I request Dr. Lakshmipati sir to kindly throw us some light on this topic.
Sir, good morning. Yeah.
Umesh,
Good morning.
I don't have a specific question like so because due to the
Your voice is breaking.
can you audible sir?
Yes.
Yeah.
Because in the state PMSY projects are implementing, so we can use the PMSY projects to start up the grants like to establishing a seed rearing or maybe the for all the things we can use from PMSY, that is very much useful from the startup grants.
There is some disturbance, I think. When please others, please mute your this. Please unmute everybody so that mute everybody.
Is it clear?
Lakshmipati sir, please try now, sir.
Yeah, sir. Sir, it is not clear.
The voice is breaking, sir.
Is it
Sorry.
now?
Audible, but the voice is breaking, sir.
Because in the state country we are implementing the many PMSY projects. Through the PMSY projects, startup grants can be utilized to use for the seed activities.
Sir, we heard you, but the voice was breaking, so it was not clear, sir.
Especially in the brackish water fish culture, you have the wide potential to start up the brackish water fish seeds rearing than Atroplus. So the available seeds are very less, very rare. So we need to take up the issues to rear the Atroplus and the milk fish seeds. So it can be very much useful for culture of the brackish water fish.
Sir, your voice is breaking. We will take the question in the later part. There is a question from one of the audience. His question is, he's not an entrepreneur, he's a farmer. So what are the schemes related for growing fishes in the farm pot? Over to all the panel.
I think the other panelists can answer the question.
What's the question, sir, actually?
Schemes for fish culture, I think.
Normal pond culture. So normal pond culture, if they are in a land of 1 hectare,
Okay.
for 1 hectare of pond, so have a separate sector in PMMSY scheme. So 1 hectare pond, you have to dig for 6 feet, 1 hectare pond. So that is the project cost of 7 lakh, overall 7 lakh, including input of feed and all. So if you are a general category of men, you will get up to 3 lakh of subsidy. And if you are a woman or a SC/ST category, you will get up to 4.5 lakh of subsidy. That is 1 hectare. You have to construct a pond for 1 hectare.
Okay. So another question is there any opportunities or schemes related to ornamental fishes growing?
Yes, sir. There are a lot of opportunities for ornamental fishes also. If anyone interested in doing that projects and all, if they can visit NFDB website, National Fisheries Development Board, there is an option called PMMSY. There you will get the guidelines of the fisheries. What are all the schemes are there? Around some 200 schemes are there under fisheries sector. So if anyone interested, please have a look into that website. You will get all the details over there.
Okay, this question is for Srijit. What are the challenges you faced in your entrepreneurial journey?
There are a lot of challenges. Initially in Karnataka, the fish market is very low compared to Kerala or Andhra, anywhere. So fish market is very low. Initially, we started our company, so we have to search for the markets initially. And regarding fishes or fish behavior, as we came from the non-fishery background, we came from engineering background. We faced lot of issues regarding pond management, water quality management, and regarding fish disease management. So we struggled a lot initially, but after that we went for a training in fishery research station in Palay, Telangana. So there we attended the 2 months training program regarding fish culture, and regarding everything they explained us. After that we got the knowledge, and we're struggling a lot. Initially 2 years of thing for every business, that will be a lot of struggle for any entrepreneur. So our struggle on what we have faced, so that we have installed our own unit in Tumkur district, my own big unit. So people started coming over there. So we created awareness from that. So from that last year, we got good opportunity, and we have completed so many projects under PMMSY.
Okay. So this question is for Vijay. So how you select proposal for PMMSY scheme, and what is the way to crack it? Vijay, are you online? So anybody from the panel can answer these questions, either Srijit's or
Basically, people has to create a DPR, detailed project report, for which project they are going to install under PMMSY scheme. After that, with all the land documents, water quality management and water test reports, everything, they have to submit to the local fishery department, which is in taluks in Karnataka. Every taluk, there is a fishery department in every taluk. So they have to submit the proposal for there. Once the proposal get approval, so from head of the department, farmer or beneficiary will get the work order. So once they get the work order, they can start the work. So after finishing of every work, they have to submit the GST bills for what money they are doing the project. So based on that, based on the GPS location and the verification, everything, people will get the money. This is the procedure.
okay. I request anybody from the panelists can throw some light on the topic.
Lakshmipati sir, now please try to speak.
PMMSY scheme, actually, we are not into that much in PMMSY scheme. But anyhow, for submitting a very good proposal to get a funding from this scheme is essentially we need a very sound DPR, actually, detailed project report, actually. So in this aspect, the institutes can help you. Okay. Depending on the domain. Suppose it is on post-harvest technology, if you want to start a value addition of something like that, or if you want to go for the fish products, we can provide with a very good DPR, which will be approved by the funding agencies. With our support, we can go for a very sound DPR and other things for the funding. We are regularly doing it, but of course, we are doing it in our domain, not for the aquaculture sector. We are doing in the post-harvest sector. We are supporting the entrepreneurs with the DPR and other things for the funding agencies.
Okay. Sir, is there any kind of short training programs where new entrepreneurs who want to begin their career can attend? Is there any online portal or where they can approach?
See, now one of our institute is there now, National Agriculture Academic Research and Management in Hyderabad. So they are organizing a lot of training programs. Online training programs are available for the entrepreneur.
Okay.
So for every training program, please follow the NFDB website and what George sir say in Manage website. If you are regularly visiting the websites, there are a lot of training programs which is going to happen.
Yeah,
So please register over there and please attend the training programs over there. You will get a lot of knowledge in that.
So now after this, during this COVID time, the thing is that there are a lot of programs. Only thing is that there are online programs actually. Because normally in our institute also for the past 1 year, we are not conducting any hand-holding program in the institute because of the COVID situation. But a lot of online programs are going on now. So definitely there are a lot of different programs in different aspects in entrepreneurship, financial management, capital management, everything is there. Just go to the appropriate event manage. All these people are offering you programs.
So this is a question from one of the startups. Sir, he just want to know what are the different scopes of fish oil?
Actually, fish oil is supposed to be a healthy one because it contains unsaturated fatty acid. You must be all aware about this health benefits of PUFA, polyunsaturated fatty acids. And you are hearing lot of products with the EPA, DHA, and all these things. So there are a lot of industries who are working on fish oil itself. Main product is that you must have heard. All of you may know this cod liver oil, that fish liver oil, cod liver oil, which is a very rich source of vitamin A. But for that, the market is very narrow. Actually, if you want to start an industry in fish liver oil or cod liver oil, this is a high-risk industry, actually. But fish oil as such has a lot of demand. I mean the crude oil. It is not the refined one which EPA, DHA, or like you got it from your 7 Seas capsule and other things. That requires high sort of investment and everything. Otherwise, fish oil as such is having a very good demand. And there are a lot of small scale industries who have started with this fish oil industry. But only problem is that now the raw material availability is a problem now. As you all know, our resources are drying out. In fact, our marine resources are getting very short because of so many problems are there. But the conventional species which we use to extract the oil, now we are getting very less. So that is a very big issue now. Otherwise, fish oil has a lot of potential as a product.
Somebody has posed a question. They are developing a fish feed. Do they need to test the product with the whole life cycle of fish?
That can be discussed with my colleagues in SIPA or SIPA. We also develop fish feed, but we only go for the composition of the feed actually. So, and mind you, all this fish feed will have that is a targeted feed, no? Because there will be a starter feed, there will be a grower feed, finisher feed, like that. Different categories of feed is there. So when we develop a feed, we are basically going for the nutritional quality of the feed. And which sort of feed which is suitable for at different life stages, our colleagues can help you in that one. Okay.
Sir, somebody has posted a question. Insect as a feed for the future. Sir, what are the latest happening in this area?
the
Insect
question
as a
as
feed.
insect.
Insect as fish feed.
Insect as what?
Fish feed.
Fish feed.
Huh.
I'm not sure about that. Of course, now that WHO is promoting and FAO is also promoting, there are a lot of insects are the future for human nutrition also. Many of these things, for example, locusts and other things, grubs, everything. They're telling they are a high source of nutrition. Of course, we are having some group of entrepreneurs who are doing this sort of this thing with the grubs and other things to develop feed from the some sort of fly, that grubs of that fly and other thing. So that is a good option, but only thing it has not come to the commercial level now. It's still the trials and these things are going on regarding the quality of the feed and other things.
Okay, sir. Dr. Chandrakant sir, do you want to post any question to the panel? Dr. Chandrakant sir?
I think there is some technical issue at their end.
Okay.
Any questions?
Sir, for fish feed validation, where a startup or entrepreneur need to go?
Fish feed analysis and validation can be done from our part regarding the compositional and other part. So earlier I told about the trial studies, like if the fish feed is ideal for which targeted group, that we cannot do, the other institute can do. Like we a lot of programs are being done by CMFRI, Central Marine Fisheries Research Institute, Central Institute of Freshwater Aquaculture, Central Institute of Brackish. All these people are working on fish feed. We want to go for the quality parameter and nutritional composition of fish feed. All our laboratories are NABL accredited labs. We can give you the certificate, accredited certificate for feed formulations.
Fine, sir. Any questions from the panelist?
Dr. Lingal sir, any words to the attendees or participants on the topic?
As I heard, no, they want to test the feed and all, okay? So as sir told, Josh sir told, there is Central Institute and also state research colleges.
Yeah,
They
state,
can also test and give their report also.
Yeah, definitely.
And also we have a research station. Yeah, sir.
Yeah.
We have got research station. They can approach also.
Yeah.
And one of the participant asked about this insect as feed.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is also very fascinating. Now they as told, a lot of experiments are going on. So future is not only this prepared feed, they will also go for a live feed. So once it is commercialized, then the future industry, everything, they may depend on this live feed.
Yeah, one of our young entrepreneurs working on one particular fly that is called the black soldier fly. I think that the grub of that black soldier fly. So he is trying to develop a feed out of this particular grub. That he is feeding this black soldier fly into the waste, actually fish waste, and he is trying to develop a feed out of that grub. Only these are all in the experimental stages. Nothing concrete has come out now.
Correct. Okay. But these things also develop next. Maybe the people will come out with suitable things, technology. Then they can feed definitely.
Yeah.
So I think we will wind up our panel discussion. Sir, just a few words for our young entrepreneurs. What you want to say, George sir?
Yeah, this is only a very brief session, but anyhow, this is a very for most of you people, especially for this domain, fisheries, it must have been an eye opener for you. There are a lot of chances in fisheries sector, but that depends on your location, where you work. Everything is depending on your because essentially it is a viable business venture. So normally every day I used to meet at least 25 people. Apart from this COVID times, people come to my office, 25, 30 people. They are all with ideas. Some of them may sound fancy, but it may work out in the end also. But only thing is that you need to be, your feet should be hard, you firmly on the ground, because it is not like that the other guy has succeeded that so that I can succeed. That will never work in entrepreneurship. Okay. So you have to pause and you have to chart your own path. So and many of the people I advise them is that don't imitate the success what other has been already done. It has been already done and away with. So you have to see the new paths and new things. See, for example, I will tell you a few months back, 3 students came to our institute. Actually, they were from Jammu Kashmir. They came to our institute on a specific research grant, and that was been sponsored by some agency. And they are from the diverse background. One was a commerce graduate, another one was an art student, and none of them from the science background even, not even for fisheries. They came to our institute based on this scholarship, and they have to spend some 2 months here identifying the potential scope for industry in Jammu Kashmir. And then they hit upon the idea that in Jammu Kashmir, rainbow trout, that particular fish is available. It is a very high valued fish. Only problem is that rainbow trout, the marketing is a big problem, because rainbow trout is a high value, because a kilo of rainbow trout may cost you around 500 rupees. But the problem is that they cannot sell it or market outside or very near to, they can sell it only very near places, like in Delhi. After Delhi only they can. So what we did, they gave a proposal to market it all over India. And what we did, we have linked them with them one big company, that is even Bangalore-based company, Fresh to Home. You must be hearing that online business, Fresh to Home. They are very well in Kerala also. They are marketing fish products, meat products, everything, Fresh to Home. So they have talked with that group head, Fresh to Home. Now they have a beautiful linking with this Fresh to Home. Fresh to Home is providing all logistic support to them to market this rainbow trout in different parts of the country. So these people, without even a background in fisheries or anything, they have identified the potential business opportunity in that. So what I want to tell you, see, you should have a background. And even if you don't have a background, we are there to help you technically and scientifically. But the only thing, you should have the drive and you should be able to see the opportunity and grasp the opportunity. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. I request Srijit to share some motivation to our young entrepreneurs who want to pursue this.
Yes, sir. As George sir said, we have to think before starting any project. We have to think about the market also. Even we started for RIS projects, if we can implementing only RIS projects, that's not going to work out. We have to give market for the fish farmers also. Then it is easy to implement any project or anything we can going to implement in future also under PMMSY or any scheme which has to be installed. So we have to think in a broader way. Then only we can enter and we can do something. As we started and we completed around 15 projects last year, now we are entering to do for the live fish market in Karnataka. We are going to create that and all. So like that, if anyone is interested, plan for a big thing and please attend, please enter and do this thing. Aquaculture industry.
Okay, Srijit, thank you. And one last question I think I will take from Dr. V. Prasanna. This is for the panelist. Dr. V. Prasanna is working at KVK Ghanatashala, Krishna, Andhra Pradesh. He wants to establish a fish value-added products processing line. He requests your guidance. So, Josh, sir, can you?
Yeah, Dr. Prasanna, you can very well. We have a center in Visakhapatnam in Andhra. We have a research center, and they are well equipped to assist you in that. You can definitely contact that scientist in charge is Dr. Raghu Prakash. We have all the details in our website, CAFT. The research center at CAFT Vizag will definitely help you in this aspect.
Okay, sir. Now over to you, Kaushik.
Thank you, sir, for the wonderful session. Now I request Honorable Director, sir, Dr. B.R. Shom, to give the closing remarks, sir, please. Shom, sir, you are not audible, sir. Sir, kindly unmute and speak, sir. Shom, sir. Shom, sir, you are not audible.
कैसे अब मेरा तो ये था कहाँ से निकल गया
Hello, Shom, sir.
Yeah. Yes. Where is it? Yeah.
Shom, sir, are you there?
1 minute. Thank you very much. Good afternoon to you all. This thing, I'm sorry, I've been listening, but in between, I had to attend these things, interesting things in between. Thank you all very much, especially the esteemed speakers, Dr. George, and I have heard Mr. Srijit. It was very attractive. Just within a span of 2 to 3 years, you have made quite significant. And if I have heard correctly, in 2 years, you have 40 lakhs plus you have earned, and 140 ponds, you have these things, and so many farmers and so on, these things. Started from where? And that's a great journey.
Thank you, sir.
Sharing with these things. And a lot of question answer also. Am I audible? Is it okay? Dr.
Yeah.
Mr. Kaushik, am I audible?
Yes, sir, it is fine, sir.
Okay. So it's great going these things, the NAVIC team and in collaboration with the KSTA, Dr. Ramesh and our great Ipan sir. So whole thing, I have also learned these things, how to start and these things. Some of the beginners from the other field, some engineers have, interestingly, they wanted to learn what problem they face, reaching out these things and a number of things. So I think networking is one. CIFT is a great resource. Not only CIFT, of course, many other supporting these things are there. And the journey, I think, I think very all these things. Srijit's these things journey from the last 2-3 years is very, very interesting. I'm sure that many people can take up the same path and learn and do these things. Thank you all very much. The kind support from the KSTA, our initiative from the NIVID team, and the acceptance of the request and participation, wholehearted, giving time so much. Dr. George from CIFT, Mr. Srijit from the Specos Innovations, yes, and all the participants. At one point of time, I was seeing some 276. Now I'm seeing that 160. Anyway, so thank you all very much on behalf of NIVID, NAVIC, KSTA for joining us and then sharing the knowledge. I'm sure that many new initiatives from the beginners would come. Not necessarily everybody those who have learned, but it definitely is a initiating, starting, picking up, boosting up. This many of the people may have more questions to the address. You can connect with different modes to NAVIC, to CIFT. They will take you to the right this thing. Not necessarily that all answers they're having, but they will definitely connect you to the right kind of people where you can get more information and things. I'll be looking forward to your constant support in the time to come. Thank you all very much once again. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, thanks a lot, sir, for the closing remarks. Yes, I hope today's session was full of knowledge and interesting things. It really gave deep insights into the fisheries sectors, like what are the opportunities that are there, current challenges in the industry, and the best practices for the startups. First of all, I would like to thank Dr. Judge Ninan sir for accepting our invitation and enlightening us with your knowledge towards the agribusiness incubation centers and various services provided by your incubation center and different technologies that are already available for the startups and some of the products in the fisheries sector as well. Thanks a lot, sir. And I would like to thank Mr. Srijit Gurikar for accepting our invitations and enlightening us with your knowledge towards your journey, aquaculture, aquaponics, and importance and scope in the fisheries sectors. And I would also like to thank Mr. Vijayan for accepting our invitation and enlightening us towards the different schemes that are available for fishery entrepreneurs and different opportunities that are there in the fisheries sectors. I'm pretty sure the knowledge, precious knowledge that you all shared will definitely help all the fisheries entrepreneurs in this journey. And I thank Dr. Ayyappan sir, Dr. Ramesh sir, and our Honorable Director sir, Shom sir, and Dr. Satish sir, and all the co-PIs of NAVIC, all the staff of NAVIC and KSTA for helping us in organizing this webinar. I also thank all the participants for participating in the webinar. We will meet on upcoming Friday with another knowledge sharing webinar. Till then, please take care of yourself, wear mask, use sanitizer, maintain the social distance, and get vaccinated to defeat this pandemic. Thanks. Thank you all.
Okay. Thank you all.
Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you all.